Thousands of federal workers across the nation scrambling to prove their jobs are worth saving as a midnight deadline approaches. But some federal agencies are taking risks to fight back.
Temperatures as much as 17 degrees warmer than this time yesterday. We'll show you how much longer this warm up continues. We'll track a cold front and eventually some rain in first warning weather.
Weeks of public scrutiny and a grilling by state lawmakers ushering in a major change to how you get your lottery tickets.
The Texas Lottery Commission says it will stop the way millions of Texans play the lottery in our state. The commission announced it will ban lottery courier services, which allow people to order lottery tickets online or through an app. Thanks so much for joining us at 5 o'clock. I'm Daniel Marin.
And I'm Jennifer Sanders. State lawmakers are questioning why the commission did not do this sooner, as the governor is now directing the Texas Rangers to investigate recent jackpot wins. After more public scrutiny and a commissioner resigning from his position, the commission is now changing its tune.
Our Capitol team has been following this story. Dylan McKim sat down with one former employee of the commission who says the agency quietly made rule changes that allowed couriers to operate even though it was against state law.
An $83.5 million lottery ticket was sold through a courier service and printed at this store this month. In a release on Monday, the commission said that jackpot win led to investigations by the agency, and now it will stop courier activity in Texas. This store, Winner's Corner, is also owned by Jackpocket, a courier service. Proposed rules from the commission say it will revoke the lottery ticket sales license of any retailer that works in concert with a courier. The Jackpocket app now has an alert for Texas players saying gameplay is currently suspended. The Coalition of Texas Lottery Couriers said it is disappointed and is encouraging a regulatory solution, which was filed by State Rep John Busey.
Really good order.
At a State Affairs Committee hearing, Senator Bob Hall introduced his bill to criminalize playing the lottery online, but he took the time to question why the commission said it could not ban lottery couriers before eventually banning them days later.
Why in the world would we believe they would follow the law when they haven't followed the law and they have denied their authority to do what they should have been doing?
One former TLC employee looked at rules changes in the past 10 years. He says the commission slowly changed the rules of lottery games to allow for the use of electronic means, opening the door for lottery couriers.
It's come clear and clear that, a few select people with the Lottery Commission had an idea what they wanted the lottery to be in this state. It was not what the legislature or the folks in 91 understood it to be.
Commissioners were at the Senate hearing Monday and say they now feel comfortable moving forward with a ban after conversations with lawmakers.
We have to take action now, and that's why we put forward the policy this morning.
But some senators are wary the commission won't follow action lawmakers take.
We pass laws, not suggestions.
In Austin, I'm Dylan McKim.
Now, the governor's direction to the Texas Rangers is to investigate two jackpot wins that have gained criticism. In one win, an entity was able to purchase almost every single number combination to nearly guarantee a $95 million jackpot. Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick said he will formally ask the Texas Rangers to expand that investigation to look into the Lottery Commission itself.
And going in depth right now, it's been more than 30 years since the Texas Lottery started operations, and it has raised billions of dollars thanks to the ticket revenue. But where exactly does all of that money go? According to 2023 figures from the Texas Lottery Commission, nearly 67% of the money went to pay off winning prizes, and nearly 25% went to the Foundation School Fund. A little over 5% was used to compensate retailers, and 3% went to the lottery's administration. And finally, 0.3% went to the Texas Veterans Commission Fund for veterans assistance and other state programs. In total, more than $39 billion has gone to state programming since the creation of the Texas Lottery.
First warning weather with Chief Meteorologist Nick.
Just a beautiful day outside here today, and this is how it looks in western Blanco County and high at the Covington Cellars. Blue skies and sun, although similar view wherever you are. No one's got clouds right now. Middle 70s from the metro into our eastern counties, and even some low to mid 80s in the hill country where you got the sunshine earlier today than the rest of us did. Skies are clear on clouds and radar, and our sky will stay clear this evening from 66 56 at 7, 59 at 9, cooling off into the mid-50s here at 11. But some concern about the morning commute tomorrow, where there could be some areas of thick, dense fog, especially in our eastern counties, where a dense fog advisory has been issued by the National Weather Service to begin at 3 in the morning and to continue all the way until 10 in the morning. We could get some areas of visibility less than a half a mile here tomorrow morning. Not saying there won't be any fog in the metro, I just think it's going to be thicker to our east. Coming up in First Warning Weather, we'll show you how long this type of warmth continues ahead of a Thursday cold front, along with a few rain chances over the next 7 days.
All right, Nick, thank you so much. More than 2 million federal workers face a midnight deadline to summarize last week's work accomplishments to Elon Musk or face being fired.
Musk sent the unusual request en masse on Saturday, but as NBC's Julie Sturkin reports, some federal agencies are telling their employees not to comply.
Confusion and frustration surrounding the latest demand from Elon Musk and his Department of Government Efficiency. Over the weekend, sending an email to millions of federal workers, telling them to justify their jobs by midnight tonight. Today, while hosting French President Emmanuel Macron at the White House, President Trump once again endorsing the billionaire's moves.
I think everyone thought it was a pretty ingenious idea.
Now, several agency heads telling those same workers not to respond, including the Department of Justice. In an email, the Assistant Attorney General for Administration said because of the confidential and sensitive nature of the department's work, employees do not need to respond.
The execution of this email was terrible and seems to have been sent out with almost no coordination from the actual agency heads who were appointed by this administration.
As the Trump administration pushes on with cuts, Republican lawmakers are walking a tightrope, facing backlash from constituents back home, while backing up the president's policies in Washington.
I think it's not a big thing to expect of federal employees to do what we do in the private sector.
House and Senate Democrats who don't have the votes to fight back are relying on the courts to intervene.
What Donald Trump is doing is illegal, it's violative of our Constitution, and it has to be stopped. And I'm proud to see a movement growing that ultimately, I believe, is going to stop Donald Trump from doing these very destructive things.
The president navigating domestic ire and anger overseas, too, as allies question his stance on Ukraine. Mr. Trump meeting with French President Macron and talking to G7 leaders as Putin's brutal war enters its 4th year. In Washington, Julie Sturkin, NBC News.
And NBC News has learned that DOJ will use artificial intelligence to read the responses from the federal workers to help determine who gets to keep their job.
And as you just heard, it's now been 3 years since Russia invaded Ukraine, sparking war. Negotiations between the U.S. and Russia to end the fighting continue, but Ukraine still doesn't have a seat at the negotiating table. Ukraine says it will not honor any peace agreement it did not help negotiate. President Trump falsely accused the Ukrainians of starting the war, and critics say he's already sold out Ukraine to the Russians. Now, during that visit to the White House today, French President Macron tried to convince President Trump to keep the U.S. committed to supporting Ukraine, contrary to what many congressional Republicans want. The president will also meet with the British Prime Minister Keir Starmer at the White House this week, who will also press the U.S. to maintain its support for Ukraine.
Governor Greg Abbott says special agents and troopers with the Texas Department of Public Safety are taking part in a federal immigration operation in Colony Ridge today, and that's a small development in New Caney near Houston. Colony Ridge has long been at the center of conservative scrutiny, with lawmakers and think tanks painting it as a cartel-run safe haven for undocumented migrants. The developer refutes the allegations that they specifically market to undocumented immigrants, saying they provide an affordable option for low-income Texans. And today, the governor said he has worked with President Trump's border czar, Tom Homan, for months to target the development. On social media, the governor wrote, quote, Texas DPS troopers and special agents are assisting Homeland Security investigations with an operation in Colony Ridge this morning. They are targeting criminals and illegal immigrants. And this comes after the Justice Department sued Colony Ridge in 2023, accusing it of luring Hispanic loan buyers into predatory loans. And in addition to that lawsuit, the development faced further legal action last year when Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton sued it over similar allegations. The developers have denied any wrongdoing in those cases.
Tonight, the Austin Parks and Recreation Board will consider recommending City Council look into an on-demand transit service that would take you to city parks. The draft recommendation proposes shared van service that people could request using their phone or an app. City officials they've been running a shuttle service at Zilker Park for the past several years, but an on-demand system would offer rides to other parks around Austin as well. The Parks and Rec Board will discuss the item at its board meeting tonight at around 6 o'clock. If you want to learn more, digital reporter Kelsey Thompson has more details on this draft proposal over at KXAN.com.
The UT women's basketball team is officially #1 in the nation for the first time in more than 20 years. So Texas clinched the #1 spot in the Associated Press Top 25 poll after Notre Dame lost to North Carolina State.
Roger Wallace is in Georgia, where the team is gearing up to hit the court and live up to the hype.
This is the stretch run of the regular season for the Longhorns. 3 games in 7 days, beginning tonight at Georgia, Thursday back on the road at Mississippi State. That will be an emotional return for Vic Schaefer before the regular season finale Sunday against Florida at home. And tonight, Longhorns will take the floor, #1 in the nation. First time in 21 years. This after Notre Dame's loss to NC State on Sunday afternoon. Sunday evening, I spoke to Vic Schaefer about the possibility and the mindset going into the game against Georgia on top of the rankings.
I think you got to stay, in the moment. You got to play, be where your feet are. The rest of that will all take care of itself. I'd be naive to think our kids don't know that, don't know what could or might happen. But at the end of the day, we got to be us. We got to be Texas, and we've got to go play with joy in our heart, play really hard like we've been playing, and the rest will take care of itself.
The number he is concerned about, 11. Texas looking for their 11th straight win since the loss to South Carolina. That also would keep them tied for the lead in the SEC heading to the final 2 games. Also, bit of a homecoming. Brianna Preston from down the road in Jonesboro, Georgia, about 60 miles away. This is a struggling Georgia team, just 2 wins in conference play. In Athens, Georgia, Roger Wallace, KXAN News.
All right, Roger, thank you so much. The UT women's basketball team will tip off against Georgia. That will be tonight at 6 o'clock.
All right, Nick joining us again to talk about this beautiful weather that I think we deserve after last week.
We really do. It's been like a week and a half, 2 weeks of cold and clouds and drizzle, rain and ice, but now we were rewarded with this. Blue skies, sun, and 70s, and in some places in the hill country, we got into the mid-80s here today. And to top it off, our pollen count isn't even that high. Mold is low, trending up a little bit, but cedar barely registering today, and it's already trending down. So a lot to love about the weather outside today. Mid-70s in Austin, mid-80s in San Angelo. Today, probably one of, if not our warmest day of the week. We're a full 11 degrees warmer than we were 24 hours ago. Tonight will cool off, and then the low clouds and fog build back in, similar, if not a little more widespread than what we had this morning, getting down into the mid-40s to begin your day. And then we'll bounce back once the sun comes out, heading for the mid-70s here tomorrow afternoon. So temperatures tomorrow pretty similar to today, maybe a degree or 2 cooler, no big deal. Clouds and radar is clear across Texas, but as that moisture builds back in, long after midnight, we're going to start off our morning tomorrow with low clouds and fog, especially in our eastern counties and in parts of the metro. Hill country tomorrow, you don't start with fog, you start with sunshine right away, and then you stay sunny all day long. For those that do start with fog or low clouds, it will gradually burn off through the morning so that by midday, everyone's got sun, but there will be a lot of you that already have sun by 9 or 10 in the morning here tomorrow. And then full sunshine as we head through tomorrow afternoon. This is Tuesday here at 4:30. Then we get into Tuesday night, Wednesday morning. The low clouds, the fog come back. In fact, they may be a little more widespread Wednesday morning than what we expect here Tuesday morning. And then even once the low clouds lift away, I do expect more clouds around Wednesday afternoon, more of a mix of sun and clouds even after the morning fog goes away. And then ahead of our next cold front, we'll see a lot of clouds Thursday morning. As that front comes and goes, there will be a spotty shower chance in the morning, but we'll find increasing sun from north to south Thursday afternoon. So tonight we're down to 46, low clouds and fog developing, but not until after midnight. Until then, clear skies. Then as the fog lifts away, it's back to sunshine tomorrow afternoon with a high of 75. And temperatures will stay warm, very close to where they were today. Today was 77, tomorrow 75, Wednesday 76. Then a cold front knocks us down, but not a lot. It's not going to be a huge temperature drop with this one. We'll go from 76 to 69 here on Thursday, then back into the 70s already on Friday, and then mid-70s through the weekend into early next week. And I know you're probably thinking a south wind, where's the humidity? Well, we'll get just a little bit of it. Still going to be in the comfy category, though, Tuesday into Wednesday, and then again as we head into the weekend. So not really much in the way of stickiness to feel. There's going to be some rain that comes in on Sunday. Right now, widely scattered to scattered showers and potentially a thunderstorm. Does not look at this point like it's going to produce a lot of rain over the next week. 1/10 of an inch to a 1/4 inch for most. And then southwest of Austin looking like a 1/10 of an inch of rain or less over the next 7 days. And most of that would come next Sunday. Next Monday looks drier, sun and clouds, and just a 10% rain chance, and still mid-70s.
All right, Nick, thank you so much. Matt Mackowiak, the chair of the Travis County Republican Party, has announced his resignation effective immediately. Mackowiak served as chair of the Travis County GOP for more than a decade. In recent years, he spearheaded the reinstatement of Austin's public camping ban, put his weight behind a plan to bring an MLB team to Austin, and he also previously ran for chair of the Texas GOP. The Travis County Republican Party's executive committee will choose a new chair on March 11th.
Singer Roberta Flack died today at 88 years old. Flack rose to stardom in the 1970s with songs such as The First Time I Ever Saw Your Face and Killing Me Softly with his song. Both songs won Grammy Awards for the legendary singer. Flack was born in North Carolina in 1937, but was raised in Arlington, Virginia. No cause of death was given in a statement from her family today. However, Flack did announce in 2022 that she had been diagnosed with ALS and could no longer sing. In her life, Flack earned 5 Grammy Awards and a Lifetime Achievement Grammy in 2020, leaving a lasting impact on singers, musicians, and music fans around the world.
News Nation tonight. James Carville, Chris Cuomo, live in primetime. What he has to say about the explosive comments he made about the future of the Trump administration. Tonight on Cuomo at 8/7 Central, only on News Nation. Tonight on News Nation, what will President Trump's sweeping changes mean for the country long term? Bill O'Reilly weighs in. Tonight on Balance at 9/8 Central.
Apple says it will spend $500 billion over the next 4 years to expand its operations and facilities in the U.S. Part of the plan includes a 250,000 square foot AI server manufacturing facility in Houston. So that facility is expected to open next year, and it will produce servers for Apple Intelligence. Apple also says it plans to hire 20,000 employees across the country over the next several years.
NBC News announced today that Lester Holt is stepping down as the anchor and managing editor of NBC Nightly News. Holt has held the position since June of 2015, and in that decade, he's covered the defining events of the era, including the rise of President Donald Trump, the COVID pandemic, the January 6th riot at the U.S. Capitol, the presidency of Joe Biden, and many other big news stories. Before taking over Nightly News, Holt worked on the show's Weekend Edition for more than 7 years. He was also a co-anchor on Weekend Today for 12 years. But don't worry, Lester Holt is not leaving NBC. According to a memo shared with network staff today, Holt will instead focus full-time on his role over at Dateline. Holt says he will make the move at the start of the summer.
We're committed to accuracy here at KXAN, which is why we wanted to point out that in an earlier report this morning and over the weekend about a person from West Texas who may have brought measles to Hays County, we said that they were from Gainesville, Texas. They were actually from Gaines County. We do regret that error.
Well, coming up tonight on KXAN, we have The Voice at 7 o'clock, followed by Hunting Party at 9, and then we'll see you back here for KXAN News at 10.